Hi, this is Inbal Claudio. I'm the founder of Like-Minded Collective, and in my episode for the Business Growth Architect Show, I will discuss the best way to build genuine personal relationships with like-minded people that will in turn amplify your business.
Hello, fabulous person. Beate Gillette here, the Growth Architect. Welcome back to the Business Growth Architect Show, where we bring you cutting-edge business strategies from some of the world's most successful entrepreneurs, business transformation experts, and visionaries who want to help you to scale your impact. Look for one tangible strategy that you can take back and implement right away. And now back to our guest. Hello, everyone. This is Beate Gillette, the Growth Architect. And today we are talking about community building and what it means to actually be well connected. And what if there was a way for you to be in charge of how you are connected to other like-minded people? So I welcome to the show, Inbal Claudio. Welcome. And I'm so glad you're here. And I hope I said your name correctly.
You did. Thank you so much for having me.
So for somebody who doesn't know who you are or has never even heard of what your platform is, why don't you tell us a little bit, please, about yourself?
Sure. So I am originally from Israel. I grew up in Southern California, where I lived the majority of my life. My husband was in the Marine Corps, so we moved to North Carolina for 4 years, and he got out about a year and a half ago. So we're back in Southern California. I have 2 little girls, currently pregnant with a little boy, and I have 2 businesses. I have a candle company and Like-Minded Collective. And Like-Minded Collective is a social networking platform only for female founders. I like to think of it as like Facebook meets LinkedIn, but for women, and with a much better search function where you can actually find who you're looking for without wasting hours. And then we also do free workshops. We do free co-working sessions and free networking events monthly.
That sounds really interesting. So one of the reasons I wanted to have you on the show is because everybody talks about support systems, networks, and mentorship, and being able to ask questions without an internet marketer popping out of the bushes with another $1,997 program in the hand. Was that one of the reasons you wanted to build something?
Yes, 100%. Like I said, I have a candle company, and I was looking for a way to grow my business after my first daughter was born. I was doing lots of in-person shows and events, and I had to pivot to more of an online presence. And I just felt so defeated when I tried to do that as a small business with not a huge bankroll. It just seemed impossible. All these female communities were charging hundreds of dollars a month or a year you had to pay up front. And then, of course, there were coaches and masterminds, which cost thousands of dollars. So there was really nothing that was free and genuine that I found in order to build community. So that's where I got the idea for Like-Minded Collective, November 2019. So 3 years ago.
So tell me a little bit more about the community that you are building, and what is the strategy behind how can we use a community like the one that you created?
Sure. So when I first came up with the idea, I had zero tech knowledge. I had zero idea of how to grow a business online. That's why I wanted to start this platform in the first place. So I really had to learn as I went. And the way that I found that to be the best is to really reach out to women who were doing what I was doing or were in a place that I wanted to learn. So I found a lot of people through Clubhouse, actually. I connected in Facebook groups with people and just started asking them questions and meeting, doing like 30-minute Zooms. And I just realized, like, this is how you build connections. You ask people to genuinely get to know them as a person. And then that's how you build a genuine connection. You don't try to sell them something. You don't say, can I add you to my email list? Can I do this? Can I do that? You just genuinely get to know them. So in building this platform, I created a community for myself. I have incredible girlfriends, 20 plus year friendships. None of them are entrepreneurs. So none of them could really help me or be there for me or support me. So I had to find friends who could do that. And so that was my strategy in growing my business, was really to create a community of women who wanted to help, where they were giving more than they were getting. And that was the basis around Like-Minded Collective. And that truly is how we work today. Everybody is so giving and so thoughtful and just genuine. And I think that's why the community has grown so much since launching in February.
So now, because this is a strategic podcast and we are here to share with our audience, how they themselves can get ideas on how to build engaged communities. So you said that you believe that the key to engagement, and this is what I'm hearing, so jump in and correct me if I'm not getting this right, but the key to engagement is to build this genuine connection. And you already shared some of your tips for it, like walk in with no agenda, walk in with the only agenda of actually getting to know this person. So now that you are now in the door and you have this engagement and you're building this momentum with this connection with this other person, what typically happens from here on? And the reason I want to be so fundamental in our conversation about this, because I actually truly believe people have forgotten what it's like to connect with people on a really fundamental level. Would you mind just sharing a little bit? What's the magic of this?
Sure. So I 100% agree with you. I think when people think of networking, they think real estate agents, loan officers, they think people who walk in the door and hand you a business card. But the truth is, you have to put effort into giving people and really listening. So I'll give you a few examples of things that I have done that have been successful. One actually happened today. So I connected with this woman who I wanted her to teach a workshop for my community. And she was incredible. We just clicked right off the bat. She has an incredible resume. She told me she is looking for speaking engagements, in like live in-person speaking engagements at really big conferences. So this morning, as I was doing some research on communities, I came across this incredible one. They have an in-person event, and a year from now, so October 23, and they're looking for speakers. So what did I do? I instantly emailed her and I said, hey, hope you're doing well. Loved our conversation last week. I came across this community that's looking for female speakers for their conference in October 23. Thought you would appreciate it. Here's the link. That's literally all I did. And she was like, wow, oh my gosh, thank you so much. And so that's how you build relationships with people. I try to remember things because I genuinely care, right? I care about her. I think she's an incredible entrepreneur. And so I remember things like that. So when I come across things that can help her, I'm going to email it to her. And same thing with connections. So if I talk to somebody who I think is an incredible strategist and really beneficial to female entrepreneurs, I could connect them with you, So I love connecting people. I love making introductions. I love reposting about their new podcasts or podcast collaborations on social media, just bringing awareness to their business in ways that people don't usually do right now. I know people actually charge to be connectors too. Like everyone's charging for everything. It's just so easy to take 5 seconds out of your day to send an email. And I think that is where the difference is. I don't have to send her fake follow-up emails. I don't have to send her fake Instagram messages. I just send her things that genuinely cross my mind that make me think of them.
There's a couple of things I want to point out, which I think is really critical. So in strategy, we oftentimes talk about scaling up. And when we scale up, we look for things that we can repeat with very little effort or that we can give out to other people. Now, what you're talking about is a different model because you are building a community-based model. And so you are now starting to establish these connections until you've built that community, and you'll do this as long as you can until you cannot do it to that extent anymore. And then the business model might shift a little bit for you because I mean, you're going to run out of time doing this eventually, right? I mean, that's just the reality of it. So that's number one. Number two is that it is a viable strategy to go in and say, in the beginning stages of where I am taking my business, which is why I wanted you on the podcast so we could talk about this, is that you do the opposite of what everybody else does. So if everybody else is out there wanting to go wider and charging for everything, then you do the opposite. You go deeper and you are building the community first. So what is now what are the next steps for you in building out this community on this kind of next level? Because I think it's also to talk about monetization, right? So you're setting the foundation. And you're very conscious about this. So what is the next step then for you?
Yeah, so there's a few next steps. So I have an affiliate program, and my goal is to make these connections with women who genuinely love my platform, love what I'm doing, and appreciate the connections that I've helped them get to where they're going to talk about my business and get more users. So that's kind of the bottom line. I have about 40 women who are currently doing that right now. And from there, then there's the trust factor. So people join the community. I am always in front of everybody because I run the workshops, I run the networking events, I run the co-working sessions. So that's not going to change. I will always be the face until I have my child and hopefully be able to step away for a couple weeks. But I liked getting to know people in that hour and a half that I have. And so that's why when I send out an email, I have like a 55% open rate because people genuinely care about the platform and they've found that connection. So step one is to build an affiliate program to have more people come in. And then from there, I can monetize in so many different ways. I can do a subscription for the education aspect. The platform will always be free, but education aspect. I can do ads. I can do sponsorships. I can host, strategy calls with people just as myself. And so it really is building those connections and having people really engaged in the community. Like you said, 100%. It's not scalable, but it is always something that I genuinely want to do. So maybe I can't do it with everybody that I know in the future, but I will continue to do that with people that cross my mind. Because like I said, it takes 5 seconds to write an email. So that's kind of the strategy of why I'm doing it and how I'm going to monetize based on my very loyal community that I'm building.
I love it. Fascinating. And we will be right back after this message. Thank you so much for listening to the show. This is Beate, the Growth Architect. I'm so excited that you're here. Thank you so much for your time. Have you ever wondered why your business is not growing as quickly as you would like it to be? Well, you may have a business growth blocker. And if you'd like to find out what that business growth blocker is, go and take our brand new quiz at growthblockerquiz.com. And in only a few minutes, you're not just going to find out what that blocker is, but also what to do about it. Again, go to growthblockerquiz.com. And now back to the show. I'm here with Inbal talking about community building and with a slightly different strategy than you would normally expect from your growth architect, which is do a whole bunch of stuff for free that are not scalable in the order to develop a business model. And what I like about this is that there is a strategy behind this because the strategy is it's based on a universal law of reciprocity. When you give freely and without holding anything back, then the universe will give you right back all the good stuff you put out in, for other people. And now as we are building this community and we have a whole bunch of excited women that feel that there's not somebody standing there with a handout wanting, to pay at every moment. And here's an upsell and wait before you go. And here's a click. So what happens is that your users are going to let their guard down because they are now feeling that there is this trust and safety factor that you are building that now rises exponentially. That now gives you the opportunity to then go and say, hey guys, by the way, labor of love is great. I'm a mom of 3. I need to figure out how to make some money. And then they're all going to go and give you ideas on how to do it because now they love you. They see what you've done. You expected nothing in return, and most likely they want to give to you. Is this part of your strategy, consciously, unconsciously?
I will give you a 2-second overview of kind of where my business has been and where it's going. So I started off as a subscription-based platform, and I was charging a monthly fee for the platform, for the education, for everything. And I just realized that I was selling. I really was selling, and my why went out the window. And my why was really, truly to make women in any stage of business know that they matter and they are not just a dollar sign. And so my why was so lost that I decided to throw the money out the window and just give. And that's why the platform will always, always, always be free. As far as what you just said, 100%, it's a strategy that I had to come up with because, like you said, let's be honest, I have 3 kids. I spent lots of money building out this platform, and I need to make it back. And I would like to be profitable, right? That's the goal. Yeah. So I had to come up with ways in order to monetize, but still keep my why. And so by building out different structures as far as monetization, I'm able to do that in what I think is an ethical way. So a free platform for everybody. Then I have 2 subscription models, very, very low end, and then a very low end. And the goal is to go from free to that small monthly payment. And then in the future to be able to afford this slightly higher. And then I'm also creating an elite mastermind. So that's going to be the goal eventually. But it's just building. So as you grow your business and as you're able to spend more, you want to spend it with my platform because I'm providing so many resources and education. So subconsciously, consciously, everything combined, that's where I'm going. And that's what I've kind of figured out in the first month of being free. I had zero idea of how I was going to monetize when I made it free, to be completely honest. I was like, I just need to make it free, forget about money, and then I will figure it out. And yeah, a lot of the people gave me ideas, to do sponsorships for the newsletters that I send out, to do sponsorships for my workshops that I put on that are recorded. And then we're also adding ads on the platform and a resources page. So things are growing in that direction.
Yes. And what I like about this, and again, I want to point this out for our audience, is that in where we are right now in society and in the world, there is a different way to go about it if you can afford it, or if your why is so strong as I see it with you, Inbal, is that to say, where do I want to be, and is it worth it? I mean, we remember Facebook was based on the free model until they got the ads figured out. Twitter to this day hasn't figured out how to make money, and it's one of the largest platforms. So, build the tribe and they will come. And, Twitter clearly made the money now in the acquisition where the shareholders got their buyout. So sometimes it is okay, especially if you're a mission-driven entrepreneur, to go in and say, God, spirit, universe, whatever you believe in, hasn't given me the insight what the model is, but I feel driven and compelled to building this. And sometimes when you do that and you really believe in that, the proof is in the pudding, because your community is growing like wildfire, from what I understand.
It is. I will tell you, it's not easy because I'm trying to get fundraising now, and everyone's asking, well, what sets you apart? Well, what sets you apart? And I'm like, well, it's a free platform. And it's difficult for people to understand that, because then the question goes, how do you monetize? And so trying to find investors And people to, put money towards this company has not been easy because it's difficult to go up to somebody and ask for X amount of money when there's no money coming in, right? Because everybody's so used to, what is your traction? How many users do you have? How many are paid? How many subscribers? What is your churn rate? But for me, my numbers are really, what is my growth month over month? What is my open rate? How long are people staying on the platform? Because right now it's about 5 minutes on the platform, which is amazing. And I've only been launched for 9 months. So trying to really explain to people that this is growing without using the money has been my biggest challenge. So, and I can't compare myself to Facebook because they're huge, and Twitter because they're huge, and LinkedIn, so it's trying to find a way to explain the amazingness of Like-Minded Collective that my users know and portray that to investors has been such a huge challenge, I will tell you.
I actually think that's not a difficult problem to overcome. What I would do is I would refer to it as the phase one. And in the phase one, it is all about creating user trust and user safety, which is what Facebook did before they started the monetization scheme. So you just refer to a existing model that any of these huge platforms have used, which is build a tribe. And then once we know who is attracted to that, we are doing our evaluations. And based on that, we built our business model, our monetization model. And I would, if I was you, I would just talk about this. This is like a totally unscripted behind the scene quick thing because that's what my brain does. It immediately wants to solve problems pertaining to strategies and systems and then go in. And when they say something, but that's the model, like you just say, that's the model, like with almost like surprise that they don't get that. Right. Because then,
and that's kind of what I did. I just added, financial projections starting in January of 23. And those are the projections, right? They're not set in stone because I don't have any data previously. So that's the mindset that I've had to shift to is this is it. This is the proof that I have. And this is, phase one. Facebook started free.
Twitter started free. TikTok is still free. I mean, Instagram is still free. So it's all, and again, I want to make sure that audience really listens to this is sometimes when you have an idea where people tell you it's nuts or they don't understand it, as long as you reframe that piece and make sure that they understand that you have a plan that is kicking in at a certain place, and you just have to have the audacity then to say, well, that's why investment at this level is at a premium, because this is only for people who actually understand that the model is modeled after the big social media companies, but we are not where we used to be. We are going deeper, not wider. So if you want wider, this isn't the platform for you. This is the deeper platform, right? This is the next thing. And I see this trend everywhere. So again, if you're listening to this, wide is not the answer. Deep is the answer. I mean, there's a definite trend. So I commend you for that. So is there, aside from what we talked about, a specific strategy you'd like to share with the audience that they now can take back to their own communities and implement?
I think going back to kind of what we were talking about before, I think specifically looking for people who are doing what you're doing, but maybe 5 steps ahead. And I know that it's very intimidating for people to reach out to people like that, myself included, but finding something relatable, I can give another example as well, but finding something that's relatable to kind of reach out to them with, and then try to set up a conversation or a call can really benefit you in the long run. So here's my example. So I am looking for investment, like I was just talking about a second ago. And I found this woman who is an incredible investor. She has an incredible resume of companies that she's invested in and advised. And she also has a nonprofit that helps young girls succeed. And I, as a mom of 2 girls, love her nonprofit. And so I sent her a connection request on LinkedIn with a message talking about her nonprofit. and telling her I found her because I was looking for angel investors and I just love her nonprofit as a mom of two. So I connected with her on a different level. I don't even know if she uses LinkedIn or not. I will send that in an email if she doesn't respond, but that's my connection. Is she out of my league, quote unquote? Yes, but she's a female entrepreneur that has a heart for young girls. And so I wanted to connect, and I know that we'll somehow start a conversation at some point. So that's my strategy. Honestly, it wasn't one that I felt comfortable doing in the beginning when I first started out, but it's been so beneficial to just talk to women who are farther ahead, who have ideas like you just said that I'm going to implement. It's just better to get in front of those people.
Yeah, and I can tell you from my perspective and from my side, so because I'm one of the women that gets these connection requests constantly about mentorship and and helping others to build. I will say that most everyone in the community of women, specifically women leaders, not just women leaders, really all leaders. I mean, my partner is doing a lot of pro bono mentoring as well. That there really is a part where and I'm listening to this audiobook where the concept is sort of there's a second curve, right? And the second curve is the sharing. I believe that if you come to that second part after you've had a significant success in your career and you don't share, you're not doing anybody a favor. The point is, at my point in my career, the best ideas probably are not mine, just because I'm not in it as deep as you are in the community, because I'm at a different point. But what I do have that others don't have are the shortcuts. Because I've heard so many of these ideas, I've seen so many fail. I probably can help, and that's what you're going after. Somebody to tell you what not to do or where to go or what these pieces are that really make that impact in a shorter amount of time. And so I like this idea of the strategy. And I know this is a little bit different than what we normally do, but it is so important that you are able to ask for help and that you are going out there and you lay it out and you say, look, I need to know on whether or not some of these ideas that I'm having, if they're valid, be specific. I would love to have 30 minutes of your time. Avoid the words pick your brain, because I'm allergic to anybody saying pick your brain. You do not get to pick my brain. Please don't offer me a cup of coffee. Don't think that buying me a whatever $5 coffee for an hour of my time is adequate compensation. Try to avoid all of that. Just stick with the facts and say, I'm a young entrepreneur. I think I have a big idea. I need to validate this idea with people I admire that have been in the industry, that have that kind of cloud power impact, or who I admire, trust personally. And, if you pay it forward, please pay it forward with me, right? And I will do the same. And so when I meet somebody and then I'll do that, then I'll tell them, pay it forward to the next one when you are at a point where you can afford that. So it is a very viable strategy. So I'm really glad that you're saying this. So
I want to say one more thing in addition to what you said, because it's so funny. I heard this statement years ago and it's stuck with me. So they say, if you're looking for investment, ask for advice. And if you're looking for advice, ask for investment. And I had connected with this woman on LinkedIn, also looking through angel investors. And she's a part of a Slack community that I wanted in on. And so in her profile, she said, if you're interested, please reach out. So I reached out to her. I said, hey, I would love to connect. I would love more info on this group. So we started talking. I told her I would look at it after my daughter went to sleep. She's like, oh, I know how that goes. So now I know that she's a mom. And so we have that connection. And so I'm really trying to figure out if my business is investable or not. And that's what I messaged her with recently. I said, hey, I would love 30 minutes of your time from one mom tech founder to another. if you could tell me if my business is investable. And she said, of course, let's get on a call next week. So I approached her exactly what you said, because she is very successful and she's passing on her knowledge, which I'm so beyond grateful for. And I've told her that, and I will tell her that again. But yeah, that's exactly what I did. I'm asking for advice in the hopes that maybe she would invest, that would be a goal, or she knows somebody else, or even better, she gives me advice on how to move forward in a more successful way. And if she says, I don't know if you're investable now, or these are the things that you need to do, then she saves me a bunch of time too. So it's a win-win.
Yeah, you're 100% right. So again, take away from this conversation that you don't always have to have it figured out, that everything can be figured out as you go along. If you feel that urge and that drive, go for it and ask people for help. Just don't bullshit. I can't stand it when I get the sappy stuff. Do your homework. Don't waste our time. At least be concise and specific. Now, we've talked so much about your platform. Now you must tell us, where do we go to join that platform?
So the platform is called Like-Minded Collective. So you can go to likemindedcollective.com. I am also on Instagram at like.minded.collective. There's a link tree there. You can hit any link you want, from Twitter to LinkedIn to TikTok. I started, and send me a message. I run my own social media. I love, like I've said, this whole podcast episode, I love connecting with women founders. So if you have a question, if there's anything I can help with, please reach out.
What would you say to the men that are listening to this podcast? Who should contact you?
If you know of any women.
If you want to be an investor and access this community.
Yeah. I have no problem with men joining the platform. My whole goal is for women to have all the access and resources that they can get their hands on. So if some gentleman has an incredible business that can help, I'm 100% down. The only thing that I really want to do is keep the networking events and the workshops women focused, because I think that when women get into a room with other women, the conversations are just so different than when a man is around. So please join the platform, post on the feed, but the live events are really only for women.
Excellent. All right. See, and that's an honest answer. All right. I thank you so much for being on the show. This was very exciting and very different and fun to do. I wish you nothing but luck. And, if you're listening, you are a woman founder, please go join the platform on whether you want to mentor or be mentored or talk to other women. This is a fantastic platform. I actually checked it out and I sent it to my daughter and told her to sign up.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. That means a lot to me. So thank you.
Yes, because I do believe that I created the Women's Code because I felt that there was very little honest information for other women, that a lot of it is filtered under this pretense of, competition, even though women say, it's collaboration versus competition. It's really mostly competition. So when we take that out and we deliberately create an environment where it actually feels like it's a collective or, a community, believe me, I can tell the difference because, I've seen many things and I've seen many things fail. So I wish you nothing but the best of luck, and do let us know on how things progress. So thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
And that's it for us today. Thank you for listening and watching the Business Growth Architect Show. I enjoyed having you here. And for accountability, just take one of the strategies that you have heard, one thing that you can implement in your business immediately. Please leave comments. Don't forget to like and share this show. And if you have any questions about business, please put them in the comments. We are here for you. We're here to support you and help you to grow, build, and scale your own business. For more advice, please check out our website in the show notes below. Thank you again. This is Beate Gillette, the Growth Architect, and goodbye.